So yesterday, the House Education Committee did shady shit, which was fully expected. The way the committee system works is the sponsor of the bill explains the bill. Maybe they have an amendment that makes the bill, so you have to vote on the amendment. It may make some changes, and then that's going to fully make the bill correct the way they want it. They'll pass that, and then they will say that they are going to go out of session in order to hear testimony. So testimony may be department heads, so it may be somebody from the Department of Education or somebody from the governor's office, something like that. It can be people from the general public. You can go online and register to testify in front of a committee for or against a piece of legislation. But they have to go out of session in order to do that. And what that means is during that time period, they cannot take any votes. You can only take votes when you are in session. So they go out of session, they hear testimony from the anti-voucher people, and then they let all of the members who want to ask questions ask questions. Then they hear testimony from all of the pro-voucher people. They get one, maybe two questions, but I think there was only one, before Representative Jake McCalman from my frickin' county, from Williamson County, asks that we go back into session, which means that nobody else gets to ask any questions of the pro-voucher people and of their statements. They go back into session, then the question is called, which means that it cuts off all debate and you have to vote on the bill. Even though there were 13 other amendments waiting to be voted on, they just ignored it. They voted, they passed the bill. Tonight, Wednesday at 8 p.m., they will go into session on the House floor and they will vote on this bill. Any amendments that have been filed since the bill came out of the Education Committee yesterday that were timely filed will get laid on the table, which means that they're going to lay them on the table and throw them out. They are not going to allow any amendments to be added to this bill. I doubt that they allow any debate on this bill. I will almost guarantee you that they already have a plan in place for a Republican House member to call the question early and cut off all debate. Now, here's the irony in all of this. We've all heard people say, Tennessee's a red state. It's always been a red state. It always will be a red state. And when somebody says that, I know that they moved here after 2010. They didn't live here before then, because if they had, they would know that that statement is false. Because you see, I worked in the state legislature in 2006, 2007, 2008. I was also diehard Republican back then. I was as red could be. I was so giddy every time I saw a Republican legislator because I held such respect for them because I was a Republican. Now, during that time period, do you know who the Speaker of the House was? Democratic Representative Jimmy Nafee from Tipton County, which is the county I grew up in. Do you know how long Democrats had held control of the House? Since Reconstruction. See, that is what people who weren't raised here don't know. Tennessee has not always been a red state. Tennessee was gerrymandered into a red state. But here's what's funny about Jimmy Nafee. Jimmy Nafee was an asshole. Everybody knew it. That man held control of his party with an iron grip. And they had the majority. So he could do whatever he wanted and did. He would cut off debate. Like, just no problem. Debate's over. He would have someone call the question and get a bill moving. And then when people complained, his common phrase was, "It's gone, boys, get over it." Like that was just the life that we lived back then. So now we're living the same life. It's just under Republicans. So don't give me some bullshit excuse and reasoning that Republicans are better. No, you're not. You're exactly the same. Okay? You're all about power and control. If you have not already done so, even if you have, do it again. Call your legislator, write them an email, because someone is going to do a FOIA request on all of this and try to find out how many letters and phone calls came in to offices for and against the school voucher bill. If you don't know what to say, I will put mine in the comments and you can see what I wrote. If you want advice on data that you can add into your letter or your phone call, ask me. I am happy to provide you information that will both bolster your argument against school vouchers. Here's a big point that I think we all need to know. One of the primary arguments for this bill is that it is going to provide money for public school infrastructures. The state currently does not give our K through 12 public schools money for infrastructure improvement. That all comes from your local tax dollars, from your county commission, your city, all of that. That is where that money comes from. And several years ago, the state did a study. The organization is called TASER, and they are a state commission that is tasked with doing research projects for the legislature. And they determined that we need almost $2 billion in infrastructure funding for our K through 12 schools. My question is, why are we not taking every single dollar that we're going to allocate towards these vouchers and putting it into K through 12 infrastructure? Why are we not doing that?